Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 24 of the 100-day project. Now this is the third video I'm taping today, so I hope you will forgive me for just sort of wanting to maybe take it a bit easier and just glue some stuff. So what I have sort of planned here is, okay, a long time ago, I took some pages out of an old cookbook, and it was kind of grody looking, as some of them are. You know, they've got dirty finger marks on them and probably food residue and so on. Anyway, it was an old Five Roses flour cookbook. So I had glued some of the pages together in preparation of, you know, decorating them at a future point when I kind of had more of a plan. So basically what I did, excuse me, today was just trim them down to 5 inches wide, just so that if they, and my intention is that they're pockets, they're doubled up, so they're, you know, a little substantial, that they would fit in a normal, on a normal journal page. I also printed up, and it's a small kit, but it's a kit that I have in my Etsy shop, and it sort of has a kitchen-y, you know, vintage kitchen theme to it. So it was pages that came out of a McClary's, I don't know what it would have been, not a manual, I don't know, I guess maybe like a sales tool or something. So I printed up some of the pages like this. I did 2 to a page so that the scale would be smaller. And you can see it's a very cute old-timey kitchen with a wooden coal stove, a lot of enamelware, this Hoosier type cabinet here. I've never really seen a sink like that, like not a real one. I also printed this page, which I think is so cute because of the enamelware on it, 2 to a page, and did some fussy cutting. Somehow this, you know, this brings back memories for me. I don't know if all these other things in the kit, to be honest, came out of that book or not, but there were some of these little images. I think they must have been the first, you know, sort of an illustrated first letter in a chapter probably. So there are those. There are a few words. Some of them are not applicable to what we're doing here. The care of floors and woodwork, the warm glow of well-kept furniture. The table is setting and serving. One thing that I do love, and maybe that comes with the sort of the farm background, are these cutting charts for, oh, and there were these pictures of the stove as well. Now, the kind of stove that I'm familiar with is more like this, where there was actually an oven, and this area here was where the water was kept warm. And, you know, even though I keep making cracks about my age, I am not 100 years old. But, you know, certainly there are, I remember this. In fact, we owned one of these, well, inherited one of these. And so, of course, there were those burner covers that lifted with a metal handle. This was an area for keeping things warm. Coal, there's a coal pail, would have been put in there, and that's where the fire was. I don't actually, I never had anything to do with that because the stove that used to be in the basement of this house belonged to my mother-in-law, and it had been converted to natural gas. Anyway, you don't need to know that. But, oh, so there were these 2, and I printed them 4 to a page. Anyway, but this is what I find so interesting. these cutting charts for the different cuts of meat. So that would be lamb, veal, beef, and somewhere here, oh, I've got a little pig. So I'm just going to begin gluing. This is how, if the camera was not turned on, this is what I would be doing to chill out. I've also assembled some trim. This got away on me. Some trims that, oh, I'm so sorry. Some trims that got away. I mean, this unrolled a bit for me, so I'll just put that back together. But I'm basically picking up the theme of the enamel wear and sort of that rusty, goldy background on the pages. Whoops. And I don't know yet how I'm going to do that. Oh, I also, again, I guess everybody kind of works in a different way. I know some people start out by making a cover, and that drives how the rest of the journal or the project is going to look. Other people, and maybe I guess I do it both ways, so can't tell anything by what I do. Other people, from what I understand, gather materials when they have enough of a certain thing, then begin working on signatures and the ephemera and the contents. So I had another cookbook here at my side that's been kind of taking up some space. I had a plan for it. Well, I didn't have a plan for it, but I obviously took it apart. So it was this one, and it goes like so. And it had all these colored dividers, so I separated those. Now, unfortunately, they are only, well, they're under 6 inches, so to fold it in half kind of, doesn't work very well. I don't know if I'd want them to go sideways. So for now, that's just sitting there. But it also had some pages in there that were horizontal. So what I did was I pulled them out, and they're the right way. So whether you're looking at this side or this side, the print is up. I inked them. I don't know. I made these little signatures. I also inked up one of these kitchen things, and there's another one of those. So this, I'm sure, will be kind of a short video because, again, who doesn't know how to glue? So basically, this is the tallest thing I have here. Now it says fish, but I'm going to cover that up, so who cares that I'm putting a pig on there? And where am I? Oops. I want some glue papers here. Unfortunately, I had to trim these little things off to keep these pockets kind of the right width, but of course I didn't throw them out because they will probably live again in some other format. So I will glue this down and hope that that you're enjoying this 100-day series. I hope even more that you are actually doing something, have picked a project of your own and are working at it. I have to say, not quite at the 1/4 mark here. It's day 24. But I have to say that it is a commitment. And that's why I just kind of felt like I needed a bit of not a very taxing project. It doesn't help that I'm trying to get a bunch taped ahead so that when we are gone for a few days, that I don't have to worry about it and I don't have an interruption in videos. Okay, so I typically use this oval punch. Now, most of the time, I would actually find the center and make sure that I've got it centered. But maybe I can eyeball it. I know that some people deliberately offset the thumb hole to make it look like a design element, and then no one can say, well, that's off-centered. So that is another option to keep in mind if you're bothered by things being a little cockeyed and also refuse to measure anything. So I'm just going to touch up that new cut there. So, okay. Maybe that is... Oh, I do have a few words. There were some that were kind of more appropriate. I don't know if anything is good for this. I also have that, but it's kind of... I don't know. This is interesting stuff. I obviously got it in a craft bag of some sort at a thrift store. Didn't know what I was getting. This is basically a sticker, and it cut these. There were about maybe 6 designs or so, and they were on sheets that were probably 6 by 8 or so. And they're very cool because when you peel the backing off, that of course becomes transparent. So I don't know if maybe I want to put that there just to cover that. That almost looks like a scorch mark. Okay, tested household recipes, laundry secrets. Okay, we're not doing laundry. Housewife's opportunity, the perfect kitchen. Oh, that would be a good one for that room. The table, its setting and serving. So maybe I need my little thingamajigger here. Oh, I should tear the edges a bit. Typically don't really like things that with such straight edges. Unfortunately, when something's only this narrow, you're really just taking a sliver off the edge and making something narrow even narrower. I hope that wherever you live that you're having some decent weather, that if it's supposed to be spring, it's starting to feel like spring. Today it was hovering around, I think the high was something like +4 Celsius. But there was that wind, that cold, cold wind that a person typically associates with March. So I don't know if somebody's wires are crossed or what, but this weekend, which is going to be Easter weekend, is supposed to be like double-digit weather and like high of 15 or so. So I think that'll be a welcome change. And it will also help get rid of some of that snow. And I know compared to some of the weather events that go on out around the world, I got nothing to complain about. So that just adds a bit of color. What does this say? Porcelain enamel cooking utensils. That came out of one of the pages. So maybe that is good enough for this, for the time being. Again, maybe something else will get added at a future date. I also have this sort of braid that I think would look pretty good with that color. Oh, and some bias tape. I know that a lot of people are stymied by this stuff. What I typically do, well, I do 2 things. I either open it out all the way and iron it, then it seems a little more useful. Or I also have been known to let's say on this one, just run it, glue it on both sides, use it the way it was intended to encase something, and do it that way. And that might not be a bad idea because I do have some white space there. I won't use the cutter In fact, let's do that while I'm talking about it. I won't use the, I won't put a thumb hole in it because that will be kind of goofy. And I think that with a thin enough bead, I can get away. Oh, sorry. Can you tell that I have a dish and a spoon near me that I didn't carry away like a good girl? Let's do the back side first and see how much the glue is going to show through. The one nice thing about working with this stuff is that because it's pre-folded and creased so crisply, there's no, wondering, oh, will I get it centered? Because yes, you will. It's automatic. Okay, so that's not bad. So we'll add a little more on this side, trim it, and that way this tag will coordinate, or this pocket, I mean, will coordinate with other elements. So you can see that sometimes if you've done some of the prep ahead of time, like, cut off the white edges, fussy cut some stuff, ripped around some stuff, inked some stuff, that it, sometimes the assembly doesn't really take that long. So I said I was going to use the line about the kitchen. So naturally that's the one, oh, right here. I was going to say that's the one that's gone MIA. Okay, the Housewife's Opportunity, the perfect kitchen. Now, I didn't... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to worry about adding anything more to that. Because it is, it's a detailed little illustration, and it is, ooh, this is kind of gaudy. I just started this glue stick yesterday, I think. I'm waiting for it to go on sale again. I buy it by the 12 pack at the art store in Edmonton. And, the price is so much better. I mean, they give a volume discount for buying it by the box anyway. I usually buy a couple at a time. But still, I expect it will be better during their summer sale, and then for sure better for the back to school sale. So, I mean, assuming I can hold out till then. I'm just about to start the last box that I have. I'll just sort of straighten that up a bit. And again, I'm just kind of putting these things together, not because this is really a journal as such, but because once you've prepared some things, they might as well stay together and be ready for the next time you get to them. So let's see. Maybe it's time to put some of those little very cute enamel things on a page like this. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a roaster and some saucepans, double boiler. Then there's that white enamel stuff. Okay, so that might be it for, oh, and there's this and a little white colander. I guess I can look on here. Yeah, I've got them all. Okay, so let us kind of envision might happen here. Actually, did I want to, where did I do that thing with the pig on it? Honestly, how do things go missing that quickly? I'll keep that in mind. Okay. Maybe these are cute. And again, it doesn't take much. It's just a little splash of color. Okay, I've got that bias tape. I've got this, but it's quite round. You know, it's kind of rope-like. I have some of this 1/8 inch satin ribbon. And I also have some sort of, you know, bright blue, royal blue grosgrain, and navy seam binding. What I could do, okay, I have 3 pages, I think, like this. So I think on this one, I'm just going to stick with the fussy cut for now. I suppose if I wanted to make it a bit bigger, I could do that. And it looks like, ooh, 3 elements. Yeah. This is not rocket science, so I don't want to spend a great deal of time agonizing over decisions. And of course, anybody who buys digitals already knows that one of the pluses about digitals is that if you want more of something, you just print it again. So it's not like I have to ration I don't have to ration my enamelware because there's more where that came from. So let's just kind of put this here. I've got a line that I can line it up on. Slap a little more. Well, oh, this is getting kind of gooey. I always push it to the limit, as though there was a shortage of scrap paper to use for gluing. Have you seen the price of roasters? Oh my goodness. That is so cute. So cute. Okay, let's leave that for now and see if we feel like it needs something more. On one of the other pages, I think I'd like to emphasize, oh, you know what I could do? I could thread this 1/8 inch through here. Is that a wee bit kitschy? If I had gingham ribbon, I would certainly be using it. I needed to get on with doing this taping, so I didn't bother looking to see if I had navy and white gingham paper. I know that I had some, but I was also trying really hard to use it up because those pieces were so old. So old. These slots are rather big, but that's okay. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll trim it, oh. I will rethread it, trim it, leaving a little extra, and then just anchor each end with a little dab of art glitter glue. Because really it's not going anywhere. So as long as I can anchor it at each end so it doesn't slide out, then that's all. Cool touch. Trim the excess. Okay. So that is cool. So now what? Now, unfortunately, those other animals are rather big, and I would have to turn them on their sides. Oh, I could make it a centerfold. I find these things fascinating. I remember back in the day when we had beef cattle, and obviously raising beef to sell to the market, and but then at some point when the herd was being sold, it also seemed like the time to pick one animal for our own use. Now, there is a lot, I've forgotten how many pounds of meat, but obviously a lot of meat on a full-size animal. So, sometimes you take half and maybe someone else would buy the other half or whatever. Plus, of course, at one point, the kids were still living at home, so more mouths to feed and so on. But I think that what we have found is that we don't eat much beef at all anymore. But back in the day, of course, you'd select an animal to be butchered, and so it would go to a I guess the correct word is abattoir, where the killing is done and then the meat is hung to cure and then it is cut to your specification. So if you're people that like ground beef, which we did, some of the less desirable cuts, we'd rather have them ground up because then it's, there's no waste. You use every bit of it, as opposed to something that might be a poorer cut that ends up, where you're trimming away or it's too chewy or whatever, especially if there could be one or two picky eaters in the house. Let's not name names. Anyway, so then it's time to go pick up the meat, and of course it comes in several big boxes, and they're in brown paper and they're labeled and all that. And then you're taking the sort of the organs as well, and the bones, you know, kind of, it's all yours, which, you know, obviously is fine because it can be either used or given away or fed to somebody. So, yeah, interesting. I think sometimes the average farmer sort of bemoans the fact that a lot of people in urban areas don't have any idea about, and particularly children, don't have any idea about kind of where their food comes from. So I guess field trips and talking about things like that probably goes a long way to help close that circle of information. Let's see if any of these little guys, okay, they're just chowing down with a lovely set table. Okay, there's Mama toiling away at the sink. I'm not the sink, the stove. Mopping, polishing, rolling out dough, doing laundry. Oh, finally, she can rest. So none of these particularly jive with, maybe this could go here. Just quickly, whoops, I should cover up my glue. I suppose, we'll see if I would have known what I was going to do. I would have, or could have, brought some other paper to sort of put under here for a little more emphasis. I don't think I have anything bluey around me. This would probably look goofy. But maybe I should stop worrying so much about what looks goofy and just do it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Got so much stuff. Heck with it. I will use this. And I guess by doing that, I introduce another color, and if I want to build on it elsewhere, I can. And of course, we know that periwinkle or mauvey blue or whatever you want to, mauvey blue. God, maybe it's time to quit for the day. Go well with yellow, so I'm doing okay. I'm just kind of going to lay that down. I should have built in some creases there. See, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I kind of feel like I want to have whatever I add be somewhat related. Like, there will be no butterflies here. Information. And again, I'm deliberately sticking with just these few elements here. I suppose I could flip through one of the some of these cookbook pages and see if I can find a word that, you know, maybe makes some sense. I could put one of those stove, or is that too big? Ooh, almost. I didn't bring anything to back it with. Because that could be a journaling card. Leave that there for the time being. Oh, I could add something here. Maybe I should add this here, because the paper's a little bigger. But is it strong enough to become the leading edge of a pocket? How about seam binding? I mean, the paper itself is still relatively thin. Let's see if I can just reach for something. This came in the mail today. About the recent budget. How is this for size? Yeah, I'll attach it to that, make it a little thicker, trim off where it doesn't quite fit, and miraculously we then end up with a pocket. Oops. Oops, don't lose my pot. Yeah, I can trim off that little I'll probably trim right around to the gold background. An electric kitchen with enameled ware is a sanitary kitchen. So now you know, in case you were wondering about that. Oh, dirty glue fingers. I'm going to trim that down even further. Put these scissors through the works here, cutting through wet glue. Oh, some bridges and roads are going to be twinned, upgraded. That's good. Okay, so let us do it. Okay, three-sided. Oh, the pocket should be, yeah, accessible from there. Spine side would not make it very usable. I don't often wear any rings or any jewelry in these videos because it just seems like, why would I want to put my jewelry through, what is sometimes dirty work? My rings are white gold. So white gold every so often needs to have the rhodium plating redone on it. Oh, wouldn't it have been nice to cut that? Not gonna work. This will be without a notch. Anyway, I didn't want to leave my rings with a jeweler that, was going to send it, halfway across the country, and who knows if they ever come back, blah, blah, blah. So I picked a more local company and took the rings there. And I thought, oh, this is so handy. Well, one day I go to pick them up, and they looked absolutely awful. Patchy, uneven, and so on. And they too recognized that it was not a good job, and of course wouldn't let me have them, insisted on redoing it. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, so you'll let me know when they're done. Well, the promised call never happened, so today I phoned and said, so what is the deal here? Are the rings done? Is it ready to be picked up? My husband will be, near there. Can he pick them up today? And the answer was, well, they're not done yet. The guy, and then she started making some excuses about the guy that was going to do it, and blah, 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 blah. And by this time, I'm kind of have gone silent on the phone. Because after a while, like, what is there to say? I'm not going to scream or swear or make a scene. But I want it to be crystal clear that I'm also not happy. Now, after the first wasted trip going to get them and finding that the job hadn't been successful, she's, and you're going to get a discount. And so then when they phone and, however many days later and say that, see, I can't seem to talk and do anything at the same time. What do I want to do here? Should we put more of this down? Anyway, when she phones to say that, and of course, you'll get a discount. So I did point out to her, I said, at this rate, they could have gone across the country and be back. And, like, what have I really saved by going with someone more local? So, of course, she kind of feels bad, and I feel bad. Anyway, so the call that was promised yesterday didn't happen. So this morning after they opened, I phoned and I said, what's the deal? I said, my husband is going to be going, okay. So, well, where do you live? Do you have a box number? Like they were going to FedEx it or something out. Well, couriers don't come to farms, people. So that option was out. And I said, and then there's a Easter long weekend coming. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just wanted this to be done. So the plan was she was going to get off the phone with me. She was then going to call the guy that is going to do it. And I'm just digging through some scraps here to see if I can find something more to use. Well, that would be kind of cute. In the meantime, I gave her Roy's phone number, and she said, would you let him know? I says, yes, I'll let him know. Oh, look, I found these cute little stamped things. but again, I said there would be no butterflies and no flowers and no bees. I suppose that I could make that work. This is just some nebulous little thing there. Anyway, so these were, I hand stitched around them. So anyway, she said, yes, it takes a while for the machine to warm up, but yes, this is job one. He's going to get right on it. And, we'll call your husband and everything will be great. Oh, look, some sari silk that has something that could work here. Piece of lining. Cheesecloth. Book spine. I got a grab bag. Oh, nonsense here. Anyway, so yes, that all was. So then I text Roy and I say, I've given them your number. She's going to call you when it's done. Maybe kill a little time so that they're actually done by the time you're driving by. And no charge, because that's what I was told today. So he gets there and somebody's going to help him. And she wants to charge him. So he starts protesting because I told him there was no charge. Oh, and then, I guess just to double check, he phones me. And that's when I discovered that if I get an incoming call while I'm doing a videotape, it stops the taping. So that's why in what will have been yesterday's video, which actually was taped earlier today, you'll see that I kind of stop in mid-sentence. And that was the reason. Luckily, it was, late in the video, late in the process, and not, like 15 minutes in or something. Anyway, so then the woman, I guess, goes to the back and talks to somebody and finds out that, oh yeah, it's supposed to be free, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the rings do look really nice. And, maybe this time I won't push it as far between the next, push it for as long, because they say that how often you have to have it done depends on, I guess, how much you wear your jewelry and so on. I wonder, I could maybe do some kind of a little mini collage here. What will be my focal point, though? How about the woman? Here, some pots. She's washing pots and pans, and I've got more enamelware. Woohoo! Let me kind of scuff up the edge of this a bit. So after this long, convoluted story, I might have to wear the rings just so you will see that they are, in fact, really quite lovely. But honestly, with today's, with people in social media, a disgruntled customer could certainly do a business and a brand a lot of damage in a short time. But you will notice that I'm telling you a story with a happy ending, not a, yeah, it was a process of evolution, eventually got there, but I don't know, would I be telling you the story if it hadn't been resolved? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, this is going to be a bugger to glue down. Tested household recipes. No, we don't want to talk about recipes because we're not using recipes right now. Okay, let's use the ribbon, the cheesecloth, the pots and pans, Maybe let's use some white enamelware this time. Oh, and I could use that ribbon, that lining strip there too. That I saw it would be so cute. Okay. Maybe I'll put this over. It'll help hold down the cheesecloth. So I think what I'm going to do is put the glue straight on here and hope that I get, reasonable. I should use something other than my fingers to try to get this down there. And again, if every single fiber isn't glued down, I kind of prefer that. I can put this here. That, I think I'll use this. I can't really tell which is the, I think this is the back side. So this will help hold down the cheesecloth. Especially that unruly piece on the side there. This little guy here. Okay, what else did I say? Oh, sorry, silk, perhaps? Oh, no, this lining. I'm going to have to cut that into a couple of... I like the way that wants to curl over. Cool. Okay. So glue this down. Let's get that anchored. Again, not worrying about parts that are kind of sticking up. And then if I find that I have to, add a bit of some strategic art glitter glue or something, then I will. That is nice. Okay, but where am I going to put the enamel? Oh, I might have to cut that picture off or just use the picture because I don't want to cover up this. That belongs there. Let me just give it a little dab of set it apart. Okay, so if I can tuck that under there a bit, it will curl artfully over the edge of the picture. And then I'll worry about that in a second. Hold it up and make sure it looks straight. I don't know how long we've been at this, but I think this will be the last bit of it because, again, this was more chit-chatting and me unwinding than probably anything very earth-shattering for you. But I'm glad that you stuck with it and listened to my sad story about my jewelry. I'd say that's good. Okay, now the $64,000 question. The picture by itself will not be big enough to hold there isn't enough gravitas. Hey, I might have to use this instead. And there's a little piece over here or something. Oh, that's the colander. I could use the colander up here. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Okay. Colander can go there. However, yeah, I think the picture has to go. Did you notice how I fussy cut? I even removed the space in the little ears. Now I have to neaten this up. God, I got everything sticking to me. Okay, cool. Now I don't think that I want to, or do I? That's probably enough ribbon for one project. I guess I'd better use art glitter glue on these things since they have those fine little details. Put this guy on first. Anyway, it feels kind of good to have some of these little bits and pieces used up, to get to use some of my meat cutting charts. And these cute little enamel things. Some recipe pages. It just kind of changes things up a bit. And of course, we know about the therapeutic value of just cutting and pasting, pasting and cutting. And I hope you're not sitting there just watching. I hope that, whether it's right now or tomorrow, that you too discover that for yourself, that it is a wonderful, wonderful, relaxing thing to do, and that you deserve it, and there is value in taking the time to do it. Okay, let me cover up my glue. I'll briefly recap what has been done here. Of course, it's not totally done, but that's pretty well par for the course, isn't it? Okay, I have that. And the little piggy wiggy. Oh, I didn't use any of the... Probably no need. This page is quite small, so that's probably overkill. But now that I've, got them here on the table, it might end up getting used. Okay, let's pretend that this is all like so. Okay, so we have the pig pocket. This now feels a bit naked. That seems too big. Anyway, I'll ponder that and see. At some point, something will probably come to me. I didn't use any of this, but that's fine. We have this with the bias tape along the top, which distinguishes that when it's glued into a journal. Oh, see, I'm not showing you, I'm not using my demo journal. And then this little baby signature here. So, well, this is not going to fit in there, but you can just see that is ready to receive something. We've got the threaded ribbon in there. Oh, let's make this the center fold so that, okay, so we got nothing there. But we do have this lovely roaster, and this big thing here probably would have been used to rise the bread dough in. We've got our little kitchen layout there. We've got, okay, we've already seen that. We've got our cow and a little, see, now this feels like it needs something. It also looks crooked. That's an optical illusion, I think. But that could be there. Let's do that. Oh, that seems like quite a bit of glue that I put on there. Very cute. Okay, so I will obviously flatten these pages out so that, because they want to curl because of the one side being dampened and the other side not. That's some glue residue. And then this, that was the most recent thing that was done. Now, I don't know what that mark is there. It kind of makes me feel like I should do something to it. I'll see. Maybe I could stamp a number on there or something. But that's really cute, and I like the way this polyester stuff is kind of curvy there. And that, my lovelies, is it for today. So I am going to call it a day and be up and at 'em again tomorrow, taping more videos, having more fun, being grateful for those of you who are watching, who are subscribing, who are taking part in some form or another, and who are taking the time to comment and ask questions, answer questions. It's all great. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again tomorrow.